The leadership quality is totally different than what you score in your exam. The leadership quality is basically you need to come from yourself, within yourself. The leadership job is to place the right people at the right spot. You always need a combination of the people. Like example, very studious people, very lazy people, very consistent people, very hardworking people, very smart working people. Never give up and believe in yourself. A person is considered as a failure. It is not because that he has failed in one time. If you fail to get up again and start once more the journey, then it's a failure. Nobody can beat you other than yourself. So you cannot be called as defeated unless you are defeated by yourself. Don't restrict yourself to by looking somebody else's success. Believe in yourself, believe in your strength, and then concentrate on your strength and convert that as a success. The word impossible itself tells I am possible. The only thing that we look at this point of time is attitude and the logical thinking. Yesterday is gone. Okay, and tomorrow will never come. And today is the only day what you need to make up. Sultan को अगर कोई हरा सकता है तो सिर्फ सुल्तान हरा सकता है.
Hi everyone, this is Disha Dioxide and you are watching CEO Secrets, what made them successful and how we can make it. Today I am here with Santosh Gundapi, who is the youngest CEO of AT&S India. Today we will hear about his journey and his experiences. Were you a backbencher, sir, or were you a brilliant student? And when did your turning point towards your success happen?
That's an interesting question, to be honest with you, because most of the times I get asked this kind of questions, whether you're a last bencher or you're a first bencher, or how did it went into your schooling days. To be honest with you, whenever this question will be asked to me, I always remember one of the statements from Mr. Bill Gates.
Okay.
So if you want to pass in your exam, basically, you ask the first bench students. If you want to succeed in your life, you ask the last bench students.
Okay.
Why Mr. Bill Gates told like that is basically the first bench students always are very studious. They make sure that their syllabus they have learned it very fast, and then they are very attentive to the lecturers, and they have got the good study materials and so on. Whereas the last bench students, they always face the problem. They know how to tackle a problem. They know how to face a problem, find a solution by themselves. So you must be a combination of first bench and the last bench. To answer to your question, I am a combination of last bench and first bench. Why I call it as it is, most of the times I used to sit in the last bench. Yes, that's right. Because that is what most of the friends used to be in the last bench. When it comes to the study part, I always used to mingle with the first bench students. At the meantime, so your academic and as well as your friendship is going hand in hand to each other. Balanced life, basically. And whenever I see myself as a last bencher, has taught me more lessons than a first bench students. First bench students, you need to keep in friendship to make sure that you get all the materials that is required to prepare your examination and get the good marks. Whereas the last bench student friendship is much more important than the first bench students because they will teach you a lot of lessons in your life. If you look at your college days or the school days, most of the other extracurricular activities is done by the last bench students. They get involved into debate competition, speech competition, or volleyball match, or cricket match, and so on. When I went back to my school days, basically, I was also called as a prime minister of our high school.
Oh, nice.
That means you're heading the students' union, let's call it in that way. That has taught me a lot of lessons. The leadership doesn't come from one day to other day. So when I was in the school days, basically, then we used to have the school fest, then school functions, or you are having your sports day celebration. Imagine a fest getting organized in a school. The students' requirement is different. The last bencher's requirement is different.
Yes.
Then the lectures has got a different requirement. The institution has got a different requirement. So you as a head you have to manage all of them. That's a Herculean task. At the meantime, you have to satisfy everybody. That is how you also learn how to build a team, how to make sure that everybody is going along with you, and how to satisfy everybody's needs. So even though that doesn't teach you directly, that gives a lot of lessons in your life. And second thing is when you're involving into the sports, you always want to win, right? Nobody wants to lose.
Yes.
Especially when you are in a team. The example, volleyball team, when we used to represent Taluk level and district level, you never want to lose.
Yes.
So your focus is, okay, who will play in which position and who is good in what. You identify them, you make sure that you rotate them in such a way that you want to win the game. So there is a strategy behind the game. So all those things really gives a lot of boost to your personal development rather than only the theoretical subjects. Of course, theoretical subjects are required for a technical upgradation. Yes. But at the meantime, what I felt during my school days is the extracurricular activity has given me more leadership skills than the day-to-day school learning status.
Okay, that's wonderful, sir. How can an average student become a CEO? You said you were a combination of the backbench and the middle bench and the first bench. So how can those kind of people become CEOs? They're not extremely brilliant, but they're not too lacking also.
Let's take an example of any of the successful CEOs. If you look at it, how many of them are the gold medalists?
Not many.
Not many, right?
Not many.
So the marks or the percentage what you get it in your school or in your college, that doesn't define your ability to become a leader. The leadership quality is totally different than what you score in your exams.
Yes.
So in your exams, it is on your individual performance. Whereas a leader doesn't have to be an individual performer. He needs to identify right people at the right spot. So there is nothing like an average student or a bright student, because most of the times we grade the students based on their marks. Correct? Yes. If your question was like average student means, okay, neither he is too low marks, but neither he is a rank holder. So in between guys.
Yes.
That is not a criteria to measure a students in my point of view. And each one of us have got a different cup of coffee. The example, you are a good singer, you are a good writer. I cannot do that job. So what I can do, you cannot do it. So everybody has to focus on their strength. Then automatically they'll get succeed in their life. Whatever I have seen in the average students, they are the best students who get succeed in the life because they have seen the reality of the life. Maybe there is also a couple of times the jokes comes, right? Like example, you might have heard this Bichi, the Kannada writer, Bichi. He writes in couple of his novels. One teacher asked basically, if an watermelon cost 2 rupees, if you want to buy 35 watermelon, what would be the cost of 35 watermelon? The answer would be 2. The one guy answers 70 rupees because 35 multiplied by 2, he's a mathematical, he's sitting in the first bench, so he'll answer 70 rupees.
70 rupees.
The other guy will ask, sir, question is wrong.
Oh.
Now the question comes, why the question is wrong? Sir, who will give a watermelon for 2 rupees?
Yes.
So there is a practical approach, right? So in an organization, you need both kind of people. Like example, you need a person who will work what you ask him to do. And the second guy who will always ask you why and what is the purpose of it and what is the practicality of it.
Okay.
That plays a major role. Maybe I can give an example in terms of the industrial standards. You will call it as a design of experiments. Most of the times, engineers need to understand why they need to do the design of experiments. And that question always comes from a last bencher. Because he is used to it. He's used to ask the questions. But the first venture is like, okay, you do the DOI, next day you will see a perfect design of experiment and then perfect experiment will be done. So you always need a combination of the people. Like example, very studious people, very lazy people, very consistent people, very hardworking people, very smart working people. Sometimes, with my experience, I can tell you, lazy people are also required for an organization. You may laugh at it, but that is the reality. Why? If you give a hardworking guy a task, okay, you have to complete this in 7 hours, you can do the mapping, okay, this particular task will take 1 hour, second task will take 2 hours, then you map it out and then you can calculate, okay, this is 8 hours job. You give it to a lazy person, the same job. First few days, he will struggle. Over a period of time, you can see that that person will come out with a different idea how to do that 8 hours job in 4 hours. Because he is lazy. He don't want to work for all the 8 hours, right? So he brings an efficiency in working. So there is a myth that the hardworking people, the people who stays longer time in the office, are the best employees. No, that's not true. You are given a task. How you will complete the task in an efficient way? These are the best employees, and they bring a lot of efficiency into the plant. So average students, high grade student or low grade student doesn't matter. End of the day.
Okay.
So it is how they mingle with the organization and where you place them. The leadership job is to place the right people at the right spot. That is one of the best and the inherent quality each leader should have in himself.
Okay. Sir, what is the best advice that someone gave you?
Good. So the best advice I ever got from my teachers or from lectures or from mentors or leaders within our company is never give up and believe in yourself.
Ah.
So these are the two statements which really changed most of my career and my life. Never give up in the sense that when you start up a project, when you're working on a project, many times it happens that the results is not desired, not you expect something, but at the end of the day you get something else.
Yes, something else.
That happens in most of the projects. I can give a couple of statistics. The best of the best R&D institutions in the world, they have got the success rate is less than double digit. That means less than 10%.
Oh my God.
So you can imagine 10 projects you start, only one project will get successful. 9 projects will be failure. That's the best of the best companies. So when you start up a project, a new project or in any innovative project, it is quite obvious that it may pass, it may fail or whatever that happens. One thing we need to keep in mind that never give up. And then you consistently run towards your goal. That is one of the criteria that we should have it. What I see it in the young generation basically is, okay, the moment you fail, then you give up. Maybe I can give my own example. My dad tried me to put into a Navodaya school when I was in 5th standard. He tried very hard. I went for a tuition. I was, until 4th standard, I was staying with my mom and dad. And 5th standard, nothing doing. You need to go there because you need to sleep with the teacher. And then you need to study until 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. And in the morning, again, 5 o'clock, you have to get up. And then you have to study. And that is an examination. Now the examination probably will be knowing it. And unfortunately, I could not pass it. And I was also depressed. Okay, I tried so much and then I could not pass it. But again, my teacher said, you cannot give up. You are one of the brilliant students. You have a good life, end of the day. Navodaya is not the end of the life, basically. This is one exam that you have failed. There are many such exams will come into your life. Keep on going. And then I believe in you. I trust in your leadership. I trust in you, basically, your analytical skills. That gave me a lot of boost. And when it comes to the next level of examination, I was more confident. Come on, last exam has went. Now, let me try the next exam. That we also adopted into our career. So whenever any project fails or whenever something did not happen the way you wanted to happen, always remember, let's not give up ourselves. There is one more chance for us. There is one more customer is coming. There is one more project is coming. Let's work on that. So what I consider here is, a person is considered as a failure. It is not because that he has failed in one time. If you fail to get up again and start once more the journey, then it's a failure.
Then it's a failure, okay.
So until that time, it's not a failure in my point of view. That is how those two statements really made me very bold enough. So I never give up. Any task the management gives it, okay, let's take it as a challenge. Until we achieve the targets and the goal, we never give up. And the same attitude, you will build it in your team. Give them the confidence, guys, come on, let's do it together as a team. And over a period of time, they will also understand, okay, one time I can fail, second time I can fail, but third time I'll definitely get success. You look at any of the best industrial experts or industrial successors, whom we call it as. Show me one example who has succeeded the first time. Very few examples who has succeeded the first time. But why they made it as such a big successors? That is because of their persistence, their consistency. They are very clear about their goals, their mission, their strategy, and they run behind it. And they never give up.
Yes.
So when you really correlate what has been taught to us and then correlate to the real successor in life, you can easily correlate. Yes, that is attitude that I also have to have it in myself. So automatically, you'll get success in your life. That is a main mantra in my point of view.
That's wonderful, sir. If you could go back in time and meet your younger self, what would you tell him, sir?
Again, what my mentors and leaders have taught me.
Never give up.
Never give up. And then keep on going in the life. Like example, probably you might have watched the movie Sultan, right?
Yes.
So that is kind of movies what I also get inspired. Because in that movie also, it is not that, okay, once you fail it, basically, or somebody may hit you or something may happen, the environment may not support you. But nobody can beat you other than yourself. So you cannot be called as defeated unless you are defeated by yourself. So that is a mantra what we need to adopt it in ourselves. So you keep on working until you reach your goal. You make your goal. Okay, I want to achieve some A, B, C, D, whatever you want to achieve it. And each individual is different. Each individual have their own goals, their own strategy, their own vision.
Yes.
So run behind that vision and strategy and concentrate on your strength. then automatically you will get, it becomes a passion for you. It is no more a stress. Maybe I can give the similar example. In my family, if you look at it, my brother is a software engineer.
Oh,
And his wife is a software engineer. My wife is a software engineer.
wow.
I'm the only hardware guy standing in my family alone as a standalone person who is a hardware engineer. So sometimes when it comes to an interactive session in my family also, everybody says, you are the only hardware guy. Yes, I'm proud of it because that's my passion. When I finished my engineering, my brother used to tell me, come on, I'll get an interview in a software company. Why you want to struggle here? I said, that is your cup of coffee. I know my cup of coffee. And then I have passion towards chemical engineering and I'll run in this world only. And once you're sucked into it, once you start enjoying the job, there's no more stress. So you enjoy your job. In a similar way, if a student can really identify what is his core strength and what is his or her passion and run behind it and never give up attitude, I'm sure that that person will definitely succeed in the life.
It worked out well for you, sir, so it will work out for
For
everyone.
everybody, I believe in many of the people whomever I ask, basically CEOs, they have passion to work. They never tell it as a stress, basically. That is the way of success in my point of view. If you start feeling, oh, today I have to go to office, then it is really stressful, then you can never get successful. So you said, yes, I have a problem, I need to tackle it today. Then you'll become successful.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful, sir. What is the mistake you see students making today at this point that will affect their careers in the future, which they may not realize?
See, one of the biggest mistake what I am feeling nowadays is they will see somebody has got successful and then they start following it out.
They won't follow their own path.
They don't know exactly what they want in their life.
Okay.
Maybe I can give one more example. You might have heard this Neeraj Chopra, right, who won the gold medal.
Yes, yes.
Very next day in the newspaper, there are like 2,000 people standing in front of the institution to get trained on the javelin throw.
Oh.
The meaning is, if Neeraj Chopra can do, my daughter or my son also can do it, and I can also do it. That's a totally wrong myth. Correct? So, but they see one as a successful person, and then they'll see, okay, when he can get success, I can also get success in the same field. But they don't understand what is their core strength. Everybody has to understand their core strength and weakness and what area they want to excel. As I said to you, like example, you write good poems, you're a good singer. So that is not my cup of coffee. I enjoy the songs if somebody is singing a song. But if you ask me to write a song, I'll be pathetic, right? So what is my strength? My strength is, like example, leadership skill or bring the team together, identifying and motivating the team and making a strategy and vision for next 5 years or 10 years, what we want to become. Exactly. So each student has to identify their strength and then work towards it. And this is exactly what I see it in currently in India, especially. If one gets success, everybody wants to follow the same thing. You can see it even in couple of roads. One hotel gets successful, you'll see 10 hotels on the same road, right? So this is a totally wrong myth and a wrong conception. If they get success, I'll also get success in the same path. So that they need to come out. Couple of students are extremely good in technical stuff. They can join R&D centers. Couple of guys are extremely good in leadership skills, so they can take a leadership role. Couple of guys are born entrepreneurs. You ask them anything, they'll only talk to you about what is happening in the financial model, who is supporting finance, how to start up a company. So they need to make benefit of their own strength end of the day, rather than focusing on what others are doing. So whenever I talk to the engineering students, this is what I keep on telling them. Don't restrict yourself to by looking somebody else's success. Believe in yourself, believe in your strength, and then concentrate on your strength and convert that as a success.
Was your path to success easy, sir? Was it luck or was it hard work? Was it a combination? What was it, sir?
There is nothing like an easy path for any of the leader, to be honest with you. Whenever you look at any of the leaders, they are not struggled, but they put a lot of efforts to get into that position. It is same for everyone.
Yes.
And the path to success will never be easy. You need to be putting a lot of your efforts. You need to determine, you need to sacrifice yourself, and end of the day, you need to be very clear on what you want to achieve and then run behind it, basically. And that is what is the secret of success also. As I mentioned to you earlier also, the leadership quality is basically you need to come from yourself, within yourself. And the good part of you here is you need to make sure that your team is comfortable with you. And that is how you get a success end of the day. And whenever, if I look back my career path, basically, I started as an graduate engineer trainee, and then lot of hurdles were there. End of the day, most of the times you overcome with your efforts. At the meantime, the team, you take the team along with you. That is the biggest secret. What I can tell it by myself. Always, I got a wonderful team to work with, and they supported quite well. It is never an individual performance which makes the company pride or which makes the things happen. It is always about a teamwork and how you engage your team, and then make sure that the team is really working for you. That is how you get a success in a company.
Did you ever feel like giving up when you faced an obstacle? And if you did, what kept you going, sir?
As I said, one of the biggest strength of me is never give up. That is what has been taught by my leaders, by mentors, my lecturers, my school teachers. That one attitude and the aggressiveness. Basically, I am too aggressive. Sometimes my teammates also tell that you're too aggressive because you keep really hard targets. Sometimes I push the team to the wall. Why I push them to the wall is basically we want to get the best out of them. Basically,
Yes.
we are very sure that if one of my lecturers used to keep on telling me, the word impossible itself tell I am possible. So that is how I also believe in it. Whenever you get a hard targets or management gives a hard target, sit for a minute and then think, okay, we are at this level, and then how to get into the next level, and what they are asking is really realistic number, and how to achieve it is a question mark. Whenever anybody gives you a target, even the management also doesn't know basically how to achieve it. If you know how to achieve it, then that's not really an ambitious target, right?
Yes,
Many people look at it as an ambitious target because where you need to put your efforts, and then you need to come out how to achieve it. So accept the target, accept the ambitious target, and start working towards it, and bring the entire team towards in that direction. That is what is your goal. And if you know how before you start achieving the target, then in my opinion that is not an ambitious target. So know how is not known, but still you're working on the targets, and then take the team into a confidence level and give them a target. Like example, if you are fixing any of the, we call it as key performance indicator. Okay, let's say you are at 90%, you want to reach 95%, you don't know how to reach it. Then you form a kind of small teams, and then tell them, guys, no, if I want to achieve overall company as 5%, so each one of you have to, or each department has to bring 1% efficiency. So sum it up together, I'll achieve 95%, right? So how to divide that entire company goal into the smaller department goals, from department goals to the individual goals. So then unite them together. If I sum it up, the individual performance indicators, that should reach the entire plant goal, right?
Yes.
So that leadership skill has to come, and then you need to take team together along with you. So that is how you can solve a lot of problems. At the meantime, you can achieve your strategy. That makes me never give up attitude. Once again, it comes back to the first character, what I have been taught. Never give up attitude. You need to bring it in entire team, not only within yourself. So they should believe in the target. They should believe in and trust in you, and they believe that okay, it is achievable target. And automatically, when you bring the entire team into the direction and the strategy, and they align to your vision, the marching towards goal is not only the CEOs or COOs responsibility. It is the entire team responsibility. But most of the organization, it is very difficult to communicate the entire vision, split it into the small groups, and then individual performance. That is most Hercule's task. So they need to understand why the individual performance indicator is important for the company goal. Company goal cannot be achieved if they don't achieve their individual goal. That must be made them clear, not only communicating what needs to be achieved. It is most important to tell them why they need to achieve their goals and how it is impacting the overall company goal. Then automatically things will start rolling around.
Okay. What was your biggest obstacle, sir, and how did you overcome it?
If you look at my career path, the entire career I worked at AT&S. So basically it's an Austrian-based company, an European company. One of the major obstacle what I see in the company is we worked in different countries, and the parent company is in Austria, the headquarters is in Austria. The culture is different, the mentality is different, the requirements are different. When an Austrian really talks to you, like example, either it is yes, no is no. And sometimes we make like yes, no, they get very much confused. For us, even if we are not agreeing, still we'll say yes. For them, yes is real yes. That means you are agreeing to the topic what you're discussing. For us, just for the sake of making him satisfied,
We say
our engineers or our Indian people, they say yes to the most of the times, basically. And that is one obstacle that still we are putting a lot of efforts to overcome it. If you cannot assume that you cannot meet the target, or if you're not agreeing to the topic what I'm talking to you, you can also tell no to me. No, because of this reason. And that boldness is not that come. And this is what I call it as an intercultural differences, basically. Because we Indians sometimes think that no, if I say no, how does he feel? How does she feel?
Yes.
And they think in a different angle. For if you are saying yes, they assume that you are completely agreed to it if you are not asking any questions. So whenever it is in a small project or medium project or a bigger project, when we're interacting with different cultural people, we always tell our people, if you are not comfortable or if you have any questions, then ask the questions and get it clarified. There is no need to say yes to it where you cannot achieve the things. That is still I am having this obstacle in the plant. You need to tell the people very clearly and very boldly what is the content and then how you want to communicate it, basically. Especially this works well within the company. When it comes to a kind of knowledge transfer or a technology transfer from one company to other company, one country to other country, this is a major obstacle that we're having it. We are having a couple of sessions, basically, to overcome this obstacle. How I overcome this obstacle, maybe I can tell it like, I also worked in Austria for 4.5 years. So in these 4.5 years, when you're physically also working with them, basically I also led a small team of around 8-9 people in Austria. So I was responsible for Austria, then Korea and India plant for customer quality. Then you interact with the multinationals. Then automatically you understand what is the requirement when every day you're discussing with them. This interpersonal skill or the intercultural skills cannot be taught only in the classrooms. So you need to experience it. You need to stay with them. You need to experience it. Then only you will understand it, what is happening. So this is one good advantage for me, basically, is I can understand the moment they tell what is the requirement and what does they mean in terms of the requirement. And sometimes this is a one hard factor in most of the multinational companies. They try to incorporate their own country CEOs, right? That is because they want an easy connections. Even we do the same thing, right? Indians, okay.
Yes.
Forget about within India. Like example, if Kannadigas and Kannadigas meet, what we do is, okay, I'm more comfortable with him,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So that if that overcome has to come out from each and every individual. That can come only when you get exposed yourself to the multicultural environment. And it's very fortunate that at least in AT&S we got that kind of multicultural open atmosphere. They're open, they are frank, they're straightforward, there is no hindrance to talk. So that kind of culture at least we develop within the company. So that each and every individual now is coming out of this closed mindset, I call it as, and they're openly discussing with the people. And how we do it at AT&S is, we have got functional responsibilities. Like example, if you take a quality as an one department, okay, the person will report to the organization. The disciplinary boss will be in India, but the meantime, the functional boss will also sit in somewhere in Austria or in China. So by doing that activity, you are interacting with two different people. That over a period of time, you understand both the requirements. That's the reason I'm telling the cultural mindset change will not happen by sitting in the classroom. When you interact every day, so automatically you will start understanding over a period of time. And this is one of the major problem for most of the multinational companies which they are facing in India.
What sacrifices did you make to reach your current position, sir? Like nothing comes easy, as you said. You have to sacrifice something. You have to take something. So, what sacrifices did you personally make?
If you ask me, frankly, sacrifice is a too big word, and I have never done any sacrifice in my life to get into this position.
Okay.
Sacrifice for me is something like a soldier standing in the border, and then he's really betting his life to safeguard all of us. That is sacrifice.
That is sacrifice.
Okay, standing at -5°C and securing our life is a sacrifice. What we are doing is really not a sacrifice. It's our passion. For me, coming to the company is a passion. Many people tell, okay, CEO job or let's say director job, it must be very stressful. For me, it is not as stressful in my point of view. The life has become so now. If I don't get the problems on my table, then I feel really stressful now. What is happening? Everything is running so smooth. So that is the level you reach over a period of time. So what I mean to say is, if you start enjoying your job, it becomes a passion for you. The moment it becomes passion for you, there is no stress. So for me, if you ask me frankly, I have never sacrificed anything to come into this position. Yes, there are some small incidents. I don't call it a sacrifice, but the adjustments, what you need to do it in your life. Like example, many times my daughter keep on cursing me because most of the times I'll miss her school function days, I'll miss parents teacher meeting and so on. Or I'll promise her something that no, today evening I'll come and I'll take you out. But unfortunately, there are some business meetings will get scheduled in the evening because we also deal with US customers. Then normally sometimes it will suddenly get scheduled at 8:30. Then you promise to your daughter that, okay, 8 o'clock I am taking you outside. But unfortunately, you have to give it up, right? That is not a sacrifice, but at the end of the day, you need to do a lot of adjustment in your life to get aligned to your company goals. Because for us, it is always the first priority comes as the company. And still my wife keep on telling me, your company is your first wife, I am your second wife. Yes, that is true. And I tell it very boldly to her, yes, that is my bread and butter. And my company is my first wife, and of course your second wife.
What are 3 unique skills that you have personally that made you successful, sir, according to you?
Good. As I said, the first unique skill I am having is never give up. Second thing is aggressiveness. And third thing is basically the hard work. So these are the 3 characters always inherited in myself based on looking into my leaders above in our organization. As I said to you, the never give up attitude is coming from the childhood days. Okay.
Yes.
And that's the reason I like too much of the sports. The sports is one thing which always teach you never give up. Even if it all, like example, you might have seen cricket, right? So even if it all it is 300 runs, even 150 or 5 or 6 down, still there is a ray of hope. Okay, we'll still win the match, right? That is a ray of hope. You know that you have lost all your batsmen, but still there is a ray of hope that even these people can score. That is a confidence level that you are having it, and many matches has turned around, right?
Yes.
So by looking into them, you feel you get a feeling that I should not give up at any given point of time. Still, I need to achieve my goal. And the second one, I told it basically hard work. Hard work always pays off. What I mean the hard work here is, whenever you are working in a project or in any of the environment, you are working on some strategy. And sometimes it may fail, basically. At the meantime, you still keep on your hard working in the right direction. Over a period of time, you will definitely get success. As I said, the successor will never get a success at the first time.
Yes.
So most of the times, first time will fail, second time will fail, third time will fail. But you be persistent on what you want to achieve until you achieve your goal. And the third thing, I call it as an aggressiveness. Aggressive is required in the business because nowadays the market is changing so rapidly. If you are not aggressive, your competitor will take against you, basically. So if you need to be aggressive into the market, if you want to be in the race. So these are the 3 qualities that we need to develop in order to get success in the life.
What are the real life products where your company's products are being used, sir?
Good. So basically AT&S stands for Austere Technology and System Technique. We also call it as an Austere Technology and Advanced Applications, basically. And basically we have 2 divisions. Okay, and one is called as Electronic Solutions, and the other one is Microelectronics.
Okay.
So Electronic Solutions, basically we work for automotive, industrial, medical segment, and including the aerospace business.
Okay.
Whereas the Microelectronics completely works on the substrate division. The India plant belongs to the Electronics division.
Okay.
Where we do Electronic Solutions business division. Like example, you have got an phone, right? So in the phone, you have got an PCB, printed circuit board, we call it as. That is what we make it. Probably you traveled in a car. So the car has got a lot of electronics parts. The example, engine control unit, body control unit, the sensors, your headlamp, your rear lamp, all those things, basically it consists of electronics. If you look at your car value, maybe I can give an example as a student, Right now, earlier it used to be 70 or 80% used to be your metal part or the body part, whatever you call it as the hardware part that used to cost. Now it is changing. Every year, the electronics share of your costing of a car is increasing compared to your body part. That is how it is getting incorporated. Right now, we are talking about auto driving systems and radar systems and so on. So all those requires a lot of PCBs, and that is where our company exists. You take any of the electronics that requires an PCB, printed circuit board, or an electronic solution, or a substrate basically. So this division we work for automotive industry, the industrial segment like machine-to-machine communication and so on, and that also the little bit portion for the medical segment. So these are the three divisions where we really work from AT&S. And from our other division, we also are into the high-speed computing and then 5G, then radar applications and so on.
Wonderful, sir. That's actually really interesting. We didn't know that.
Yeah, maybe I can elaborate it what the company and then how the technology is evolving into AT&S. The normal human hair basically is of 100 micron. So normal human hair head is around 100 micron, and what we do the technology at this point of time in AT&S India is 50 micron line width and spacing, we call it as. That means you divide your hair into the half. That is a conductor width what we are talking.
Oh my God.
And the spacing, what we call it means, it is the spacing between one conductor to other conductor is again half of your hair width.
Wow.
So that is so much interconnected. That is how the more smaller is the chip, it is more costlier. The more compact it is. Because everybody wants all 100 applications in a small space, right? That is how the world is evolving. So the smaller the PCBs, the lesser the line width and spacing, it is more difficult to manufacture. And we are very proud that AT&S India is the only company which is in bulk manufacturing of high density interconnect boards in India. So we are the leading manufacturer of printed circuit boards in India.
That's amazing. What general skills do you look for in a potential employee, sir?
Good. So most of the times when we do the interviews, the only thing that we look at this point of time is attitude and the logical thinking. Because whatever that you learned in your diploma or engineering or ITI basically, that is only the basics. Trust me, I am in this industry from last 20 years. Whatever I learned in my engineering days, I have not even used 5% out of it. That is how it is. And most of the professionals whom I talk, basically, what we learned and then what we do is totally different. So the engineering degree will basically tell you how to think logically. It doesn't give an ready-made material what industry needs at this point of time. That is why there is a lot of industry and education institution panels are ongoing at this point of time. What industry requires, what education institutions are delivering at this point of time.
As a clash.
And if you look at the new education system, basically, that's the reason government is also pushing the education institution to have collaboration with the industries. Because industry needs X and they are teaching Y. And first we need to teach the professor itself. Because they are not teachers to what industry requirement. So in a newcomer or a new journey, basically, we just look for an attitude, the right attitude, whether he wants what he wants to do in his life, whether he will be an employee for a couple of years with us, what he wants to achieve in his life, what is the ambition, and so on. At the meantime, we'll see whether he is logical thinking guy or not. That's what is the two qualities that we look into it. That is how most of the companies are looking into it. If you look at any of the companies nowadays entrance exam, it is most of the aptitude questions, the logical reasoning. Why they are doing it? They are not asking any technical questions in the first round. That is because that gives a confidence to them that any will groom them later. The training will be given by the companies. So over a period of time, after 6 months or 1 year, then we'll make them employable. So I always tell, if you look at it, the degree and the skills, these are basically the two sides of the same coin. So a degree without a skill or a skill without a degree, both are empty. So you need to have both. So we need to develop the skills in the students so that they are employable. So we just look at attitude plus logical thinking, and that's it.
So marks doesn't matter, sir.
The entrance marks will be there, minimum 60%, but most of the students will get any 60% nowadays. So that shouldn't be any hurdle.
It's not too important.
That is not so important. If, like example, Whether you'll ask me at any given point of time what percentage I scored, no, right? Because after over a period of experience, you'll only ask what you did in your previous job.
Yes.
Maybe I can elaborate it like example. SLC marks card is required to get a PUC examination, and PUC marks card is required to get an engineering degree, and engineering certificate is required to get a first job.
First job.
That's
After
it.
that is just
After-
experience.
Exactly. So your
Okay.
experience matters a lot rather than your certificate. Even I have forgotten now what percentage actually I did it in my engineering, so it doesn't matter end of the day.
Oh, okay. Wonderful, sir. Now we'll move on to the motivation section, sir.
Yes.
What or who was your biggest motivation?
Still, I am a big fan of Ratan Tata, Mr. Ratan Tata.
Oh, okay.
You just read a biography or how he converted the Tata Group into such a big successful company. In his career of, let's say, 21 years, where he was really heading the complete Tata Group, he multiplied the revenues by 40 times
Wow.
and the profit by 50 times.
Wow.
And look at even at this age now, how much active he is and how much importance he also gives it basically back to society. Whether it is
True.
education development or it is the R&D center development or any social cause the moment he comes forward. And a person who is down to earth. Whenever you talk to him or hear the story about him, you feel very proud of him end of the day. A very ethical guy and then very simple person, very down to earth guy. And you cannot value a person by wearing what he's wearing or what kind of brand he's wearing. He never show off any of the things. If he wants, he can get really anything out of the world,
Yes.
But you talk to him or you just listen to any of his speech. He always humble and he's a down to earth guy, and then he always respect the employees. Even when he goes to his own companies, he stand in the queue for lunch along with the employees. That is a kind of personality that I am always fan of him, basically.
Okay. That's actually a very good motivation to have than some celebrity who is like this and all. These Gen Z people usually they are like, I want to be this celebrity, that celebrity. So saying Ratan Tata is your motivation, I think it should be good for them. It should resonate among them.
That's exactly what I'm trying to tell it. Because the heroes, what we see it on the screen, they are not the real heroes in the day.
That
It is only the job that they are doing it for 3 hours of moving. And if you look into their real life, they are not the real heroes or they are not the real models basically whom we need to follow. So these are the real life heroes. And it is very interesting to see, how he evolved the entire organizations or still how much he is active.
There's so much to learn from them.
Correct. And how much he's giving it back to society. Look
that's
at his earnings and at the meantime, how much he really spends it back on the society. And the respect what he's giving it back to society. That is most important for me in a personality. And that is why Ratan Tata is the biggest fan. I am the biggest fan of Mr. Ratan Tata.
Wonderful, sir. What are your personal goals, sir?
It is very hard to tell you, to be honest with you. But at least I want to get retired at the age of 45. That is my personal goal now. It is done enough now. And maybe another 10 years, let's put it in that way, 5 to 10 years, you work and then afterwards you just take a retired life and then do something for the society. I have gained a lot of things from the society and now maybe after the age of 45, 50, so I want to give it back to society. Some are in other way. I don't know exactly which way, but I'll find a way so that I can contribute it back to the society.
Wonderful, sir. How do you stay motivated every day, sir? You said it is your passion to come to work. What drives that passion every day, sir?
See, whenever I come to the plant every day, let's say, yesterday is gone, okay, and tomorrow will never come. And today is the only day what you need to make up. That is how I get up and then say myself. And since you have taken it as a passion, always whenever you are getting up, you always think, okay, today I need to do this activities. Sometimes even when I'm sitting at a breakfast or coffee, I'll be still thinking. So what are the tasks I need to complete it today? And nobody will ask you to do it. But end of the day, you want to do it because of your passion. And when you start driving it as a passion, it is no more stress for you. So even sometimes in the night time, I'll be looking at my calendar next day, what I have to do it. And then morning itself, I know exactly how many meetings I have got and then how much I need to do it. And then what are the other things that are not yet incorporated in my calendar, which I need to look into it. That is how it drives me every day. And then it is a motivation coming by yourself.
Intrinsic motivation.
Intensive motivation, basically. Internal motivation that will push you. And if it is an external motivation, it will die down within short period of time.
Yes, that is true. According to you, what is the future trend in jobs right now, and how can we as students prepare for them, sir?
That is a wonderful question in my point of view, because currently many times whenever I attend any of the engineering college functions or something, they always ask this question: what we need to do to get a job? Rather than directly telling the answer, I would say they need to focus what are the investments that are going on in the country. See, once the investment is there, of course, it will generate a lot of job opportunities.
Yes.
So, in the area of where the investments are more ongoing at the moment, if you look at it, the maximum investments are also happening in the electronics and semiconductor division at this point of time. If you heard the news now, like example, Apple is doing around 8% of the assembly in India in the last year, and their target is to reach close to 18% in 2025 within next 2 years. That means there is a lot of assembly will happen, there are a lot of suppliers is required, there are a lot of investment is coming on. All that requires a lot of job opportunity, create a lot of job opportunities. And the young generation needs to start gearing up themselves to get into those jobs. So rather than asking a question, basically, what are the job opportunities? They need to keep on looking what are the areas where the investment is happening in India and what kind of industry it is. To get into that industry, what are the skills that are required? There's a different requirements, like the people are talking about artificial intelligence, then semiconductor division, then biotechnology, then microbiology. It depends on your passion also. Once again, I don't want to push any engineer just because, okay, somebody has got a success, then again you start running behind that success. So you identify what field you want to work. Like example, if you're good in designing, okay, there are a lot of good opportunities in designing of the PCBs or the chips and so on. There are like multiple companies available in Bangalore itself. This is one of the hub for anyway the software industry. If you're good in coding, there are a lot of software companies that are in India. And if you're really passionate of the manufacturing industry, then you really look into the investment that are happening at this point of time, and then check what is their requirement. But there are certain common factors that comes into the picture basically. The example, if it is a mechanical engineering or electrical or electronics engineer, the statistical analysis is one field which everybody requires now. So whichever the field you want to go ahead. And there is a huge demand for statistical data analytics. And there are a lot of institutions which are giving this kind of opportunities. If you're traveling towards Bangalore, on the left hand side, there is one of the very nice institute called Indian Statistical Institute. That is one of the best organization who teaches about the statistics. That's a government organization. But the teaching staff is wonderful and they offer a lot of statistical courses. Like example, you can do an engineering degree plus, like example, Six Sigma Green Belt, they got Black Belt program, they got couple of MSc programs and so on. So combination of your degree plus statistical data, that gives a different weightage to your resume. So, but if you are a guy of number guy, so if you are a number guy, that's the right job. No, I don't like number. I hate numbers. Then you need to look, okay, I like designing. Then you look what is the designing aspects. So always look into what is your passion and what industry needs. Then that combination becomes a perfect job for you. Don't only look for that my friend got job in that company, then I'll also follow him. You may not like it after 1 year or 2 years of time. And there are a couple of guys whom I have met it. They are like, number means for them, it's the easiest job. Like if you play chess, let's take an example. You like chess, okay, then hours together you can sit and play chess. If you don't like chess, you can't even concentrate for 10 minutes. You'll say it's a boring game. I don't want to do it, right? So everybody has to understand their inner strength and then move forward basically to get a job. But there are huge, enormous job opportunities in India at this point of time because everybody is talking about at this point of time China plus one strategy. And the students just need to gear up themselves to grab these opportunities. And they need to interact more with the industries to get themselves developed into these areas. Sometimes they only look into the theoretical knowledge. They need to come out of this cell and then say, okay, I want to develop this skill along with the industries. Look for a practical approach. And then getting a job is not really a big task at this point of time.
Wonderful, sir. How important do you think networking is in a student's career? And I don't see a lot of people giving enough importance to networking. So, how do you think students can start their own network? And how important is it, sir?
That is a need of an hour, I call it as.
Okay.
See, most of the times you might have heard, the students who is studying in Bangalore get the more opportunities than the students studying in somewhere in the north part of Karnataka, let's say Belgaum, or Hubli. Why? Because he has got a good networking system here. Most of the companies are here.
Yes.
So he meets couple of guys who are working in that companies. Then he will understand without telling anything, what are the company requirements, how the recruitment will happen, what the companies are looking for, and so on. So that needs a kind of networking. And networking means it is not only with respect to the industries, the networking within the students group, from one college to other college, one university to other university, and with the industries, with the different software companies. That networking is extremely important to understand basically what is happening in the industry. That's why we keep on telling to the students, keep both your ears and eyes open for what is happening. Because what you are learning today, it will get obsolete within the next 5 years of time.
Yes.
Trust me, even as we are in this same industry from last 20 years, if we don't have the habit of unlearning, learning again and again, we'll also become obsolete. That is how the industry is end of the day. Because once you're in technological leader company, technology driven company, you need to keep on updating yourself. So that can happen only through the networking session. So you need to keep an eye what is happening in the outside industry. Because if I look at the syllabus from an engineering college, let's take an example, still they are teaching what was valid for 20 years back. Okay, so now the industry required a different set of skills that is not there even in the syllabus. It is not the mistakes of the students, but when they connect it to the industry, they'll automatically comes to know what is required by industry. Then automatically they can focus on those skills.
Yes.
So networking is an extremely important factor in my point of view, where industry and education institution both should come forward. Like example, maybe Confederation of Indian Institute, like CI is also putting a lot of efforts in that direction. We want to combine education institution with industries. If you ask the industrialist, they'll tell, yeah, we want to help the education institutions. And if you go and ask education institution, they'll say, yeah, we want to come with industries. But what is really happening? That's a question. So that is where a huge gap is there. That we need to bridge this gap and then build a network between both industry requirement as well as education requirement.
Okay, wonderful, sir. Now, this is a question that is specific to you, sir. You joined this company as an employee at first, right? And then you worked your way up to the position of MD and COO. What things did you do right that brought you here, sir? What made you a CEO from an employee?
Good. I joined this company in October 2005. Maybe I can be frank with you. I finished my engineering in Dynasar College of Engineering, and then there was an interview at NI. Basically, it was an open examination.
Okay.
And we traveled in the night, and then we stayed in one of the senior room basically at that point of time, and we had a nice party until 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. I don't remember. And that senior was a little bit like first bench student, yeah. Then he was waking me up, come on, today you have got an interview at 7 o'clock and then you need to get and then go for a test. Which test I had to go now, That was a type of the seriousness that we had it, we were never serious. And somehow we entered into the organization and then we wrote the exam and then we came to AT&S. And that was the most fortunate part that happened to me in my point of view. And once I entered into AT&S, I could see that there is a lot of opportunities for you to learn. And it is an open environment. At least what I felt extremely good in this organization is you are open to access all the documents. And if you really show the interest basically to learn and then develop yourself, the company really supports you. So within a span of, let's say, 3 years, then I got promoted as a quality engineering manager. And after 3 years, I got one more promotion as a production manager. I was heading the entire production of India plant. Then I have been promoted as a quality manager, general manager quality.
Okay.
Then once again, I said, okay, now I'm done. Now it's general manager quality is done. Then at that point of time, I was already thinking, okay, what next?
Okay.
Then they said, okay, as a career path and career grows to you, you can come to Austria and then you can handle Austria, then India plant and Korea plant customer quality division.
Wonderful.
So I was a customer quality manager for the BU unit AIM, we call it as
Okay.
Automotive, Industrial and Medical Division. So 4 years of experience in Austria. That gives me a lot of boost and confidence basically. And whenever I was giving 100% to the company, and company was also taking care 100% of my requirements, let's put it in that way.
Okay.
So it was a win-win situation for both. And that is how I could spend entire 20 years in the same company.
In the same company.
And company also understood it. During the COVID period, then I came back from Austria. I came here only, let's say, for 1 quarter or 2 quarters to support the local management here at that point of time. Then, okay, they said, whether you are ready to take over the position of COO in AT&S India. I said, why not, And I am very proud that I am one of the youngest COO of AT&S India.
Wonderful.
Of course, now the designation has changed as senior director. It is one and the same, basically. You are heading the entire plant. And AT&S has got one philosophy, basically. We don't look at the age. If you are the right capable person, they will allow you to groom yourself and then they can get into any level. And I am one of the right example for it in the study. And many companies don't do it. It is not a government company, right? Where, okay, after 10 years you get next promotion, after 20 years you get this promotion and so on. That is not the state, at least in AT&S. And like example, at the age of 37, I became the CEO of the AT&S India plant. That's quite good. That worked out quite well for me end of the day.
Wonderful, sir. Now, sir, we'll move on to the rapid fire questions. Fast answers.
Let's see.
Okay. What is your favorite food, sir?
My all-time favorite is jawar roti and brinjal curry.
Oh, nice.
Because I belong to North Karnataka,
nice.
So my mom prepares quite well. So I am a big fan of
cuisine.
Of course.
If you could trade places with anyone for a day, who would you trade with them, sir?
Again, my favorite person, Mr. Ratan Tata. Because that personality has, I keep on reading about him, what all the achievements, what he has done. You can look at him, how much awards he has got, and then why he got awards, and how he developed the company, and so on. And even at this age, what he does, basically, how much active he is. At least one day, I would like to interact with him.
Wonderful. If you could be a superhero, what would you be, sir?
To be honest, I don't believe in any of the superhero. And a couple of times, I watch Chota Bheem with my daughter.
Oh my God.
So probably just to satisfy my daughter,
I'll become
Chota Bheem end of the day.
Wonderful answer, very unique answer. And if you could have dinner with a celebrity, who would it be, sir? And what do you like about the celebrity?
If I want to go for a dinner, let's put it in that way, that would be definitely Mrs. Sudha Murthy, the wife of Mr. Narayan Murthy. The answer is why. If you look at any time whenever she speaks, you can listen to her interviews or whatsoever. She is a very humble person, a down-to-earth person. At the meantime, she has reached the highest level, basically. Each and every person in India definitely knows her.
Yes.
But the way she narrates the stories, it's wonderful. Even if you read any of her books, basically, yes. I feel so much connected to her, basically. And end of the day, she narrates all her life stories into a book, and she writes it wonderfully.
Yes.
And I want to listen to her, real life stories which she has not written in the book. That would be a wonderful session along with the dinner with Sudha Murthy.
Wonderful, sir. If you could recommend a book, would you recommend a Sudha Murthy book or something else?
I read all of her books, most probably. But one of my favorite book is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Ravi Sharma.
Okay.
This is so much correlating to any of the corporate life. If you really read the book, it is a wonderful book. Even I recommend you to read the book whenever you have the free time.
Yes, sir, I love to.
And this is one of the wonderful because he narrates a complete story of a lawyer, and then how he gets into depression, then once again how he comes back into his life and so on. So every corporate professional, one or other times, they get depressed. And then how to regenerate yourself basically into the life. That's a wonderful book.
Okay, wonderful. And kind of music do you listen to, sir? Do you listen to my music, sir?
Let's put it in this way. Most of the times, my music depends on who is along with me, because most of the times I don't get remote in my house. So if I'm traveling with my daughter, then she choose Western music. Okay, I love to listen to Western music with my daughter. If I'm traveling with my dad, then he wants to listen to the old Hindi songs. Then I go with him basically. And if I'm traveling with my wife, so it depends on her mood. Whether it is a romantic song or it is a Kannada song, whatever she prefers. So it depends on basically the surroundings. But I am used to listen to a lot of old Hindi songs and Kannada songs.
Wonderful. What is your favorite movie, sir?
There are two favorite movies of mine, all-time favorites I can call it as. One is Three Idiots, and second one is Sultan.
Nice choices, sir. They are very good movies.
Yeah, because Three Idiots you can correlate your engineering degree, where you can have a couple of idiots along with you, of course, and everyone has excelled at the same time. And you can correlate a couple of characters, to your friends and then your college life. Sultan, because again goes back to my never give up attitude.
Yes.
So there is one punch dialogue, what is that? Sultan ko agar koi hara sakta hai, to sirf Sultan hara sakta hai. That means basically nobody else can defeat you other than yourself.
Yes.
So that is what I believe in.
Yes.
So sometimes I tell, okay, this movie has got a real meaning to the life. That's how I like these two movies.
Wonderful, sir. This is an interesting question. If you won a lottery of 1 crore and you had to spend it in one day, how would you spend it, sir?
Basically, I want to give this entire 1 crore rupees for the development of the primary schools, especially the Kannada schools. Because whenever I visit them, there are a lot of basic necessities that needs to upgrade it. And when I compare it to the English medium schools or the private schools, there are a lot of basic infrastructure that is missing. I'd love to spend this money onto the primary schools development. That's how I want to make use of it.
Wonderful, sir. We've reached the end of today's interview. Thank you, sir, so much for reminding me not to give up, to be aggressive towards my dreams, and reminding me that no one can defeat me other than myself. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, Isha. Thanks for your open questions. It's always my pleasure to be chatting with you.
Thank you, sir.
It was a nice time with you. Thank you once again.
I hope you viewers can implement what sir said into your lives and succeed just like he did. Thank you so much for watching.